Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I am back with another replay that I took from the front page of Drop.sc, and I think this one should be actually rather entertaining, but let me go ahead and give you guys the rundown on both of our players. In the lower left-hand corner, spawning as our yellow Talon, I give you all Semper. Quite the epic name to go with it. I mean, come on, he just looks like someone that I wouldn't want to go toe-to-toe with. In the upper right-hand corner, our Zerg in the red trunks, his name is Atomie! And of course the map that we are on is going to be Neoplanet S, of course. The reason why it doesn't show up here in what appears to be the lower leftish corner, just above the minimap, is simply due to the fact that I have the Chinese client loaded, so it doesn't, for some strange reason, work very well whenever I've got it loaded, but here we are. Guess see how this game unfolds. Of course, the choke here is rather easy to wall off because it is, of course, very narrow. And I think overall, any Terran that goes bio or even bio mine versus Zerg on this map would basically have one heck of an easy time dealing with his opponent. As you can see, the 3 o'clock-ish base here is right next to the natural, so what can happen is we can see conveniently, basically the Terran player would drop here and then drop here. And if they wanted to be super annoying, maybe drop some Widow Mines, but it seems to be that a lot of players are actually kind of just drifting away from the the mine drop play in Heart of the Swarm now that it's kind of been figured out just a little bit. You only need a spawning pool to make a Spire, or excuse me, not a Spire, but a Spore Crawler these days to actually get some detection out and deal with your opponent. And by the way, I do want to say that there's something new that I'm doing with this cast, and it's basically those introduction graphics that I gave you guys a few minutes ago. Something that took a few minutes, like 30 minutes, to figure out how to do in Sony Vegas. My editing skills not the best, but of course, I made the best of the tools that I have to work with. Of course, it would be super baller if I could somehow figure out how to use Photoshop. That would definitely help me out, if not just GIMP, but here we are. The Overlord comes across the first barracks here, and it's going in there like a boss. Like, oh wait, no, he's turning around. He's figured it out. Oh snap, there's something here that is going to come out of that building that can shoot up, and it's going to kill me if I'm not careful. Behind this, we're going to have a gasless pool going down right now, along with the natural, and the SCV is going into the main. Just basically trying to get a read on what we're going to see from Atomie, and this is basically all he sees, no gas, so he's thinking, alright, I'm going to have a relatively easy time dealing with that mineral line, if not simply delaying mining time. I mean, that's what the Reaper does. Essentially, it delays mining time one worker at a time, but it doesn't necessarily go in and get a bunch of kills all at once. 3, 4 Reapers, however, can be a bit of a nuisance in the early game, and we do see a second one on the way. 2 of them, if microed properly, can kill a Queen. And with that, we actually see Atomie now going for a gas in response to the Reaper, I think, arriving at his natural. If not, he's trying to save a drone. But every time that we see him making a Reaper, that's a larva that gets spent on a pair of lings, not workers. So any worker kills that we can actually see Semper get away with here would actually be a bonus to him. I did just hit Control X because I wanted to be less in the way of confused. So far, no workers killed, but 3 of them did basically get pulled off the line temporarily. I'm not sure how long they were put off, but of course that's time that they're not mining. And now gas is being taken. Not quite enough for metabolic boost just yet, but we're gonna see the first 100 gas going down for Semper and see just what he's gonna, excuse me, the first 200 gas going down, 150 gas going down, whatever have you. And we're just gonna try and figure out what he's trying to do here in the near future. We don't see anything else being built except for, is that a third? Yes, that is a third command center. Orbital command number 2 on the way at the natural, and we're seeing basically Semper coming, excuse me, not Semper, but Atomie just basically, he's stuck in his own base. He can't get his own third started until he deals with those Reapers. Metabolic boost now on the way for him, speak of the devil, and I do just want to take a moment and say I believe this game may have been a part of a tournament simply due to the fact that both players are not the standard ladder colors. The Reapers get in, get a couple of Ling kills and get out, but if they knew that there were no Lings in the main, I wonder what they would do, how they would react, and so on and so forth. We do have 3 Queens altogether, but it looks like 2 of them are a little bit excuse me, 4 queens altogether, but now 2 of them are preoccupied with spreading creep. Did I miss a 5th one? Let's check that out. No, I did not. Okay. But now we have a marine tank composition coming out from Semper. I'm wondering how he's going to try and make this pan out, how he's trying to play this, and so on and so forth. But ultimately, for the time being, we just see Atomie basically spreading creep like a madman, and he's doing a damn good job of it too before actually taking that 3rd. He wants to make sure he's got very firm ground control before he actually tries anything like that, or perhaps he could be trying to do a 2-base all-in. There is a Baneling nest on the way. Lair tech as well. No, he could simply be sporting a Ling Baneling composition along with Mutas, which might come as soon as his lair is finished. Oh, but look at that. Ooh. Most of those creep tumors were forced to, not forced to cancel, but most of them were just killed straight out, and the 3rd one actually was killed just now. So, just delaying, putting some, you know, being annoying really is what we see Semper doing, and he's doing a good job of it. And being annoying in the early game can lead to greater ventures in the late game, but an infestation pit? No, I'm sorry, hold on, this is something new. Evolution Chamber number 2 going down at the natural. We have +1 Carapace being researched now, and this is something a little reminiscent of Infestiny play. And by Infestiny play, we're talking infestors to the style of Destiny, to the style and tune that Destiny would play with them. And finally, now we see the 3rd going down for Atomie. He's got an Overlord just over his opponent's 3rd, speaking of, but he has no vision of it going down just yet. Double bunkers now going behind the natural, as we do see our Terran just a little superstitious of what may be coming to him in the near future. 1 Reaper gets surrounded just as it spots the 3rd. And that will be all that she wrote. Hellions out. What is our Terran sporting now? It is Bio. Of course, the +1/+1 did signal that, as well as the multiple barracks that we see here. And a factory with a reactor going down now that a tech lab has been ready to go. The biggest problem that we're going to see for our Terran is I don't think he has stim ready. No, and he hasn't even started on it. To this point in the game, that can, you know, stim is so vital for dodging Banelings and just getting the DPS out that much faster. It's basically like having 1.5 time upgrades, if you will, to your ordinary marine attack speed, if that makes sense. 3 infestors on the way, burrow being researched. +1 Carapace about to finish up in about 40 seconds, and I'm thinking, this is a little hard to say just what we're going to be seeing here in the near future. Armory now going down behind this, and we have music to the tune of Wings of Liberty to basically chorus what is going to happen throughout this game and give the romance of our Zerg and Terran going at it. Now note when I say romance, I'm not talking about being romantic or being affectionate or kissing or hugging or any of that gooey stuff that all the grown-ups do. I'm sorry, I had to go ahead and say that because I'm pretty sure some of you guys are thinking, oh, well, why does this guy have such a high-pitched voice? School out yet? Oh, yeah, that's right, it's July already. But honestly, romance. Yeah, for those of you who've taken high school literature, you guys should know that this is actually basically the tune, not really the tune, but rather the air of heroism, if you will. And Hive going down on just 3 bases can be somewhat risky, but I'm pretty sure Atomie has a plan behind this, but his +1 Carapace is just finished up. He hasn't even started on +2/+2. His +1 melee is about to get started finished up as well. And supply depots going down at the back door of the 3rd for Semper. The Overlord does, of course, see all in this. And it seems that our supply depots can see that as well. Creep being spread, again, just creep everywhere, where. But of course, this is the one thing that signals that we are not playing Wings of Liberty. Aside from the new music in the background, it would actually be the fact that we have Widow Mines in the game. For those of you who've just never played Starcraft before. Alright, so Marines, ouch, gonna snipe that Overlord and thus take the eyes away from Atomie, but he's got another pair of eyes not too far away here in the form of creep tumors. But also, we're gonna have a medevac drop going out here, and I'm gonna say that this is gonna be extremely difficult for our Zerg not to spot, really. I mean, he's already got infestors ready to go over here. And this map, if you just let your opponent spread creep freely, you are going to be in a world of hurt. But it looks like this is a drop that's going to be seen no matter what. He's just going to clear away the creep tumors, maybe try and get a prevent on the third. Ooh, one wasted fungal growth. And another one goes down just in time for these infested Terrans to try and peck that medevac. They do get it. Another scan going down here to clear the creep tumors away, but the northern creep tumors haven't been dealt with yet. That's going to give our Zerg infinite vision, and there we have it, the adrenal glands going down, as well as the Ultralisk Cavern, so we can see that he's not going with Spire whatsoever. And behind this, what is our Terran doing? He is going to send a medevac drop out and clear vision of our Zerg, but our Zerg hasn't reacted to it yet. What is Atomie doing? I don't understand. He's going to take some, well, maybe take some damage at the third, considering this double spine crawlers. He's dropping behind the mineral line. Nothing here to defend behind the mineral line, however, and it looks like that's going to pull enough of the Marines forward to where they're just going to be annoying. But speaking of forward, we do have a biomine force moving out to the front lines. Creep tumor's not cleared away, so actually our Zerg can see every bit of room that he has to engage. 4 Ultralisks on the way, huge engagement, not enough in the way of Banelings. Supply difference, not that astoundingly large just yet. But oh my god, that was such a clutch fungal growth right there. It caught all of those Marines, and the burrowed Banelings over here didn't even have to go to work today. Now, Atomie behind this is being dropped in his main. It looks like he just got a few Overlords to pop and just pulled out. So for the time being, we see Atomie supply blocked. Both players kind of breaking away for the time being. And, ooh, what is this? Another double medevac drop is going to get out the door. And this one's going to come back home, get some repairs, maybe drop the Marines and get them healed as well. And just examining the unit compositions that both sides are sporting, I can't really see any flaws in them. We do, of course, I mean, the tanks, they're purely defensive. They haven't moved out on creep. They haven't tried to cause any damage just yet, but, you know, +3/+3 is going down for our Terran, but wait a minute, what about +3 Carapace for our Zerg? He's got enough money for it. Why isn't he making it? He's being dropped at his third right now. Actually, clutch fungal growths once again. Just those money fungals. He's throwing the infestors away. Probably a misclick. Yes, more than likely. It must be. It must be. Now, both of the medevacs were dispatched, but the static defenses weren't enough. Looks like that. Oh my god, that was such a huge score for Semper. He sniped the 4th, and he got out of there. Overseers arrive here to the party, and they're going to be taking down... They're going to basically eliminate those Widow Mines. As the Banelings, the burrowed Banelings did just detonate, there was perhaps 1 or 2 Marine fatalities, if not half of a single Marine fatality. And it looks like these Marauders are still going to town over here at the third. Getting a lot of decent damage done, but as it is right now, I'm wondering which side of the map has a larger army supply. It looks like, slowly but surely, it's actually... Ooh, wow. Okay. 军队补给. That's Chinese for, what's the word I'm looking for? Army count, or army supply, if you will. But there is a burrowed infestor trying to go in past this missile turret. Not quite going to work out. Widow Mine's just now burrowing, and both of them get ignited, and it looks like, for the time being, we are going to have a bit of a stalemate engagement. Atomie supply is dipping. It's not favoring him whatsoever. The choke is actually going very well for Semper right here, and he holds. He holds. Tank getting quite a few kills behind all this. One Ling actually blitzing straight to the mineral line, ignoring everything else. Just doing everything it can in the way of economic damage to his opponent. Banelings get scanned as they are burrowed, and it looks like we just have some of, you know, it's just a couple of them unburrow and leave, and it looks like there's yet another medevac drop at the third. He's gonna take that into the main now, since he did lose a good deal of Marines, and he just wants to annoy his opponent and pull his attention away from the front lines, basically. Marines did stem again, and it looks like they're trying to, well, they're trying to do something. They're just trying to annoy the heck out of our orange Zerg, really. But I'm wondering, how many worker kills did he get with that? It looks like to his name, he has 8 worker kills at this stage of the game. Creep tumors being spread across the gold areas of the map. As it is right now, I don't think a command center could land except for perhaps on this left one. The right one, definitely not. I can tell that much by looking. Attack going at the 4th. And it looks like, speaking of 4th, that one was taken out, not canceled. Full surround going down on the planetary fortress, and it will fall. No amount of SCVs repairing this in the world can save it. And it looks like this 5th base that was in construction has been basically prevented. But speaking of fourth bases, fifth bases, and everything else in between. We have a fourth orbital command ready to go and a fifth command center about to be built. Huge engagement out here on creep. The Widowmine's burrow, and it looks like the Marines just get picked up and get out of there. They realize what kind of a dire situation they were in. Banelings finish morphing and then join the main army, and it looks like we are waiting for our yellow Terran to make his move. He's kind of in, you know, both players kind of shot in the way of income. Both players sniping each other's fourths quite adequately, but it looks like for the time being, and our purposes, we got a huge engagement going here. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay, so here we are. Ultra's just running away from this huge bio ball, and it looks like the scan goes down in just an appropriate position, and now we have less than adequate creep spread for our Zerg. He's actually at 132 supply to the opposing 196 that he's going to have to face in the near future. This fourth base being reestablished. This one Ling over here, right next to this burrowed Ling, preventing that fourth base from getting established for Semper. And behind all of this, it looks as though Atomie is, he's ready to hold any attack that he may have to. He's got burrowed banelings, but I don't know what good that can do someone when they, they've got scans. And it looks like that one Ling was not preventing the fifth from going down. As we see Semper basically realizing that he's trying to attack it, but he's forgotten about his own fourth base. It's getting dropped, but it's not gonna fall. And behind this, we have another attack going to the north end of the map. Perhaps this is just to clear away creep tumors. This medevac drop was mopped up adequately, and all the bio from our Zerg, everything from Zerg's bio, what am I talking about? Everything from our Zerg here is going to the lower right for the time being. Couple of Marine and Marauder trip mines here, if you will. If there's an attack coming from that route down to the fifth base, what is now the fifth base for our Terran, fourth base, rebuilt fourth base for our Terran, then basically Semper's gonna know about it. But right now the income is, I want to say, borderline favoring Semper. I say borderline because he's gonna have mules. We all know that. And both players at 3-3, we're getting from that stage. We're getting to that stage where both players try to exchange and engage and micro their way to victory. But if this doesn't work out for the next 3 or 4 minutes, we could actually see the players try to tech up and take things into the late game. And by the late game, I mean we're talking battle cruisers, corruptor, infestor, broodlord, so on and so forth. But now it looks like Semper's ready to try and end this game. He scans on top of creep, revealing a few burrowed banelings. It would have been such a clutch idea to put them right here instead. But here we go, the huge engagement. Widowmine's burrowing, and it looks like the Ultras are taking the brunt of all the damage, the brunt of all the splash damage. It would be more than an awesome idea to actually pull queens and get them to transfuse them. But the fourth base, as it is, has fallen again. But we have another fourth being rebuilt over here in the top left. And it looks like we're going to have just Atomie going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All right. Well, Widowmine's all dispatched. There's only a couple of infestors here. The supply difference is not that great, but of course we're talking about the income at this stage in the game. That's what this game is all about. And it looks like we might be taking things in a low econ situation pretty soon. Both players trying to remax themselves desperately to 200. Basically, their asses are out of gas, if you will. The asses that they are riding are out of gas. They need some more fuel for their mules, if that makes sense. And yes, I did take that from one episode of The Simpsons. But it looks like there's going to be a scan on creep over here, revealing creep tumors. And all the bio here tries to get that queen, and they do. And it looks like Semper is kind of slowly but steadily throwing away SCVs. I'm not sure if that was his intended vector. It might have been a misclick. As it is just a teeny bit early for this, I don't see any tech ups just yet that say, hey, I need to throw away supply. But Widowmine's empty fungal. And another scan going down just to reveal the position of his opponent's army. Looks like he did successfully use one beach ball to trip a Widowmine. And both players just kind of break away, Atomie just going, you know what, come at me, bro, come at me, bro. And it looks like this fourth base got rebuilt for, I don't know, the third, fourth, fifth time. Scan again, but I don't know where it is. Forget about it, as we do have a nice, huge engagement over here. The fungal growths were absolutely beautiful. costing Semper a huge chunk of his army, but there's going to be a drop here that gets all but successful. There were 2 Spore Crawlers to snipe the medevac, and now the drones are retaliating against that 1 Marauder, and it looks like we actually have Atomie kind of, I think, erroneously pulling back his main army. What he should probably do is perhaps try and secure the bottom right, just keep his opponent from taking it yet again. So here we are. It looks like he was actually going to do that, but as we see it now, 1 Ling does attack it, or does run into it, and basically trips the Widow Mine that's here, and now we're going to see all of these Ultras, all of these Infestors go straight into it. Both players' army supply is relatively large, but Marines are all right to throw away. Marauders, however, versus the composition that we have coming from our Zerg, are not. That is something you never want to throw away. And it looks like these SCVs are going to be massacred, and that's going to give Atomie a slight lead, but oh my god, it looks like a huge chunk of the army was caught out of position. Wow. And now Atomie, while he is trying to bring himself back in this game, I don't think it's quite going to work out for him. He's got 2 Ultras on the way and 14 Lings, 2 Infestors, but they're just not here at the party right now. Nonetheless, we see him trying to push this back. He's trapping a few Marauders. He's doing a good job with that. And the Infestors still have 2 good fungals on them. They trap a good deal of the Marauders and the Marines. And with that, we see Atomie pushing back just a teeny bit by bit. And now we're at the 30-minute mark. This is usually where we see both players try to get to that late game tech. But the biggest problem for Atomie is he's got a strong ground army. All of his upgrades are for this strong ground army. He's got everything except for +3 Carapace. His opponent, however, is now throwing down starports with tech labs on them, and this means usually Ravens, battle cruisers, but given the fact that I don't think we have a fusion core around here just yet, I'm scanning, I'm looking, no fusion core, so we're not going to see any battle cruisers just yet, but perhaps mass Ravens. Banshees may also be a good alternative, but here we go, the engagement is coming piece by piece. We see Atomie rolling forward as Semper is buying time to get his late game tech out. The 3rd now going dry. We very rarely see a game go to this length on this map, ladies and gentlemen, really. But now it looks like, oh man, that command center was forced to lift off. And basically both players are now putting bases where they used to have them or where they originally intended to have them. And we're going to see Semper trying to A-move onto this little lower right-hand hatchery, if you will. His income has been sapped, and it looks like, oh no, Atomie's basically trying to abandon that, but he's got a couple of Spore Crawlers on it. It looks like it's going to fall. He's going to be forced to engage here. He's trying to trip some of these Widow Mines before he actually goes in to engage. The Ultras are going to get a good engagement on that little chunk of Marauders that got fungal growth, and there's another money fungal right here. And if Atomie can gauge this correctly, perhaps he can see, wait a minute, there's not a lot of bio here. He actually took down the base in the upper left as well. What is there left for income for Semper right now? He's only got this 4th base. It's about to be mine dry, so he's getting starved, basically. So right now, for the time being, and for our purposes, it seems that Atomie is favored for the moment. And I think that was basically the key engagement to this game. Atomie himself is now taken down to about 1 base. He's got, I'm sure, a chunk of idle drones around here somewhere. Just 4, but checking the worker count, it's now 48 to 33. Scans going down where? It looks like over here. Just wants to get a read into those links, and that's about it. And it looks like this 1 Marine's going to come up here and see if the coast is clear, and maybe we'll see Atomie trying to float an orbit, excuse me, not Atomie, but Semper floating in a command center to the upper left. Transfuse is now going down on the Ultras. Atomie realizes, okay, well, I got that base, but it could be a little bit more difficult to actually get. And it looks like there's another drop. It gets taken down, but the Marines are going to target down that hatchery, and the fungal growth goes down on the Marines. Will it fall? It does! It does! Oh my god, such a clutch drop it really was. And look at this, look at this! Oh man, the 4th base is now being forced. Oh wow. 5th base is going to be a gold now for Semper, actually taking that pocket 3 o'clock position, or pocket 9 o'clock position, if you will. And it looks like, for the time being, we actually see all of these Ultras coming in here, trying to wreck house. They're doing a good job. And Semper forced to lift off. His supply presently at 67 to 200. He's got nothing else to mine from except for these few mineral patches that are dry. He doesn't even have enough. You know, I think this is the beginning of the end for him, but what has he built out of these starports? The answer is nothing, because he's just, for the longest time, he hasn't had the income or even a bank to really support that. Infestors throwing down infested Terrans over here, trying to prevent any mulage possible. Still going to make some income, that one and only mule on the mineral line. And it looks like now we have everything being pulled here. Even Semper's Marines, he wants this gold base. He wants to be able to hold this. Clutch fungal growth going down on all those SCVs. This is not, unfortunately, a planetary fortress. And there it is, the GG from our Yellow Zerg. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys liked what you saw here today, then just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. This is Breaker. I will see you guys next time.